Is this thing on? Testing the mic. Testing the mic. Ah, yes, it's time for a time attack. I hear music. I hear voice. Let's get stuck in with the time attack. All right. Wait a second. My headphones are turned way down. It is paint time. Paint. 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 Hello, Mr. Miles. Hope you're doing well today. Anyhow, welcome back to Country Fried Minis. I'm your host, Cameron, the country boy in the big city, presenting once more from the Bullshit Corner 2.0. And today we're going to get stuck right back in on our project today. Howdy, says Mr. Iron Elementals. Hope you're doing well, mister. Bringing it back with the time attack. Glad to see you, mister. Saw your post in the Discord today. So happy you're feeling good about things.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, cause I thought king.
Anyhow, let's kind of recap what we were working on here. I've got a commission that's due by the 30th, and we're getting stuck in. We're going to do a paint every day till it's done, rip and tear till it's done. I've still got some models sitting on the build plate over there that need to get processed in. They will probably get brought into the fold for Thursday. In fact, I'm thinking we might even set aside our little vehicles and then just do a vehicle thing. Maybe over the weekend, whenever we get to those, that will also lighten the load of what we're working on here today. So let's go ahead and start processing those over there. But yeah, we're going to be painting and painting and painting and painting and painting and painting and painting until these are done. Get these out the door. And then I'm going to try to turn them into a piece of content. Don't know when that's coming out, of course. I'm obviously, I really suck at getting videos out, but we'll get there eventually. Recapping from yesterday, we hit our olive drab boys with a initial sprayed base coat of camo olive green. I think today we're going to hit these with another pass and make sure the base coats are nice and solid. We'll probably hit these guys again with another layer. We made our homemade what do you call it, homemade speed paint and put over top, but they're a little light, so we want to bring that color down. I think mix a new tone, and we're gonna rub it on and get a good bit of coverage. We have a little pooling there that got bad. We might have to come in and clean up here in a second. Yeah, we're gonna hit these guys with another pass, get the color brought down, and set these aside to dry. We'll hit these guys with an airbrush, and then hopefully by then these guys will be ready for some more color. These fellas are going to be Northwind Highlanders in a green and black forest camo pattern, and then these guys are going to be olive drab with like nose art markings, and these are going to get done and out as soon as possible. This is content too. You building make lots of content. Yes. It's we're trying to shift the content here into lots more streaming. It's not as exciting or as polished, I don't think, as the like full video stuff. But yeah, I think that you're right, Mr. Mental. This is a way to get some stuff out, and I'm gonna ramp it up. We're gonna bring this place back to life. We're gonna attract some new people. We're gonna get some folks in the Discord. So if you're new and wanna hang out and show us what you got and talk minis, make sure to stop on through. We're always looking to increase the participation so we can do fun stuff like mini painting contests and who's got the best peen jokes. Rar, welcome, Dirtpool. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Today's going to be a long one, so check in periodically if you want to see what's going on. But we're gonna hit to the grind. We're gonna get to work, and then 5:30 p.m. we're gonna be doing a redirect to show a little love and unwind. Show a little love to the Dicks in the Dark and unwind and hang out and chat. And see how they're doing over there. Another episode of Up and Away on the Dicks in the Dark. They play D&D in space. They've got a redirect on this chat, so if you want to catch any of that, just say okay when the stream is over. But that does mean we do have 5.5 hours time slot today to work, and I'm gonna try to get there. I may end this at the 3-hour mark, but we really want to get some headway in on these boys. So that is the plan. So anyhow, without further ado, let's get started. And I think the first thing we need to do, we got to come in here. We have a really strange pooling artifact that has happened here. And I think we want to kind of clear that out a little bit. And we're going to do that with some isopropyl alcohol, I believe. Just get a little bit out into this cap here. And we're going to kind of attack that spot. We have a weird spot where as thin as this stuff was, it was able to form a meniscus. and in doing so, built up quite a bit there. So we're gonna rub it down with a little ISO and see if we can't break it down. I want to make sure that it's like glue and not just paint that got built up too big. And honestly, it's kind of looking like glue to me, which means we maybe need to get in here with a hobby knife. And I think I left my damn hobby knife over there. I sure did. Let me go over there. Why don't you enjoy one of these then? I'll do the first set today. I'm gonna go over there and grab my hobby knife and give y'all 10 push-ups. One moment.
Yeah.
Would you do a workout?
I do.
Give me 10.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. She can go on forever.
All right, that's the first 10. Remember to check the cloud bot if you want to do your own redeems. Link in the description down below. There we go. So we're going to get in here and we're going to do a little excavation. And now that I'm hitting it with the hobby knife, it is not glue. It is indeed a built-up meniscus of paint. We're gonna dig that bad boy out. It's still kind of soft too. So that means we need to be cognizant of this and keep that in mind when we put the future layers on this thing. Just means we need to go back with a brush and really clean any pooling out of that point. Get some tweezers out. Oh my
Iron
goodness.
Elemental donated a $22.77 super chat. Redeem Popcat.
Holy moly, thank you for the generous donation, Mr. Mental. That is crazy generous of you. I need this to stop peeling paint. This is really peeling paint back. That is the if I could give you a golden Popcat for that, I would do so. All right, so we need to come into this spot right here, and we need to fix what we just pulled off, because a whole bunch of paint peeled with that, and we're down to the plastic there. And I think it is at least a spot that is basically free of touching. Like, nobody's gonna rub that. Even if you put your thumb, if your handling goes up and down the model there, you're not gonna catch that spot. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna clean it up with a little bit of our, I think it was this uniform green. We're just gonna use some straight uniform green. Full strength, we're not gonna thin it out. We're gonna come in here and just dab it on there and let it set up, and it looks like the surrounding color. But now we are free of that like big blob of paint that got stuck there. Honestly, it probably wouldn't be too noticeable in the end, but I notice it now. and it's got to get removed. Okay, so we want to adjust the color on these guys a little darker. We've learned some lessons about our speed paint mixture and how it's going to perform. So we're going to use this nice starting green as a jumping off point, and we're going to hit these guys again with some of our speed painting mixture. And I think we can maybe switch over to this Luftwaffe camo green and make a mix out of that. I think what we'll do is we'll take our uniform green and our Luftwaffe camo green and mix them together and get a nice 50-50 going on. And then that way our paint kind of stays in the same family as the layer we put down before. Also, it's hot all of a sudden, so I'm going to turn on my fan and I'll be right back. You get about 3 hours every day where it's not too hot to not have the fan on. It's hot. It's not hot downtown. It's just hot in my apartment, which is really, really frustrating, y'all. All right, so getting in on this, we're gonna do mostly Luftwaffe camo green, and we're gonna put, it's about a 60-40 mix of these two. I'm gonna get that going. We're gonna put a whole bunch of our matte medium on it. Get that mixed in. Put a bunch of water in it. Actually, let's go ahead and start mixing it first. Just get that mixed up and create a nice reservoir for our water as we mix it in, so we don't get this thing out of control like we did yesterday. It did kind of just go everywhere yesterday. Now, y'all recall our mixture was way too thin yesterday, and we ended up doing 2 layers. So I think we'll do less water this time around. And then we're going to come in with our alcohol and break the surface tension. It's starting to look nice and flowy. We maybe should put it on a test piece before committing, unlike yesterday. It's even been hot in the Netherlands for the past week. Summer is here proper, y'all. How hot is hot? Yes, let's actually find out. We'll do this. Boom. It ain't even gonna try, is it? No, that's not what I typed in, Nightbot. That is not what I typed in. That is not the same. Stinky, sweaty, ball hot. Yes. Balls. Alright, so we got some Daishi arms sitting around here. Let's try painting a little of this stuff on and see if our mixture is right. It looks... honestly, it looks pretty decent. It's almost on. It's almost there. I think it's close enough. I wish I had a primed mini sitting aside ready for this. I think it's gonna work though. So we're just gonna attack our boys again from yesterday. Honestly, I think it might need a little bit more of the matte medium. And I just realized I should be filming at least a little bit of this. At least a little bit. Let's get some film shot of mixing the goo in there. Camera, more pro video. Let's run our pro video. We got these here, and we do that, and then we mix the shit into our mix here, and then we're gonna grab another one of these boys here and do like a test. Looks a lot better-ish. Can't really tell because it's gray and not white. But the whole point is we've got a thin base coat going down on these boys that will let them kind of rebalance the color that we put on them before. I think it's still a little too thick, just a hair. But we do have a nice action going. It's like pushing down into the crevices, and it's leaving the tips kind of raised and light colored. So we're just gonna roll with it. Besides, we will be doing some dry brushing over top to build up the layers anyways. So we're not super stressed about this anyways. We just want a nice coverage with that like
some neighbors are saying way too loud.
That's only in the morning.
contrasty
He supposed to be up cooking breakfast or somebody, and so that's like an alarm clock.
that makes any sense. That looks pretty good. Good enough for the footage anyways. The footage this time isn't going to be really focused on the minutia of the paint job. It's going to be more about, hey, we did this stuff. We worked frantically. We got the shit done. Screw this. I'm not going to move today. We had temps close to that a little while back, and the wildfire started, smoke helped block the sun for a bit and let things cool down. Had to wear a safety net to catch my balls that were hanging so long. Safety net for the balls. Just like, where do you strap the safety net to is what I want to know. Is it like, does it attach behind the knees and it kind of just hangs loose? Like right above the knees even? Like, I get that you want to protect your pendulous balls from like impacting anything, but you also like, there's a certain amount of like, a certain amount of play you want to give them, right? So that the temperature regulation actually functions, I would think. Or am I wrong there? Do you have to manually hold that safety net all day? Because that also sounds awful. At a certain point, it sounds like the testicular safety equipment might be more hassle than it's worth, to be honest. Alright, this is working okay. I'm going to try to be cognizant of pooling so we don't get another similar, like, really intense meniscus effect that creates a blob. But I think our color is right on this time. A little more drabby, less bright yellowy. And And this will be a good foundational point because we're going to go back over with some black contrast paint stripes. We just want them nice and here. Let's do a side by side. So like this one's obviously more natural colored than this kind of, it's got a little bit of a neon thing going on. It's a Borat mankini. No, super loose ankle straps around your ankles. If the heat outside is higher than 37°C, the testes hang long enough you can stuff them where the sun don't shine for cooling. You always just tape them to your leg. Just like get some gaffer tape and run it around like 3 times so it's like a really strong a strong layering of tape, and then you can kind of stretch it a little bit so it's got a little bit of play, but then it's still like structurally sound enough that motion isn't going to tear it, and then just keep them tied to your leg, and that way they can hang freely. I mean, when it's that hot, your body temperature should be less impactful than the outside air, right? Dude, I'm reminded of a road trip years ago where I was in this little car that didn't have functioning AC. It just blew, like the fan would work, but it would just blow the same temperature air, so it didn't really have much of a cooling effect at all. And I was driving through Death Valley, and it was actually like there was a big stretch of highway in the middle of the day where it was cooler to roll the windows up and just cook in the car than it was to roll the windows down and let the Death Valley temperature air in. It was insane. I had my little dog with me in a giant like a Big Gulp style cup, and I was picking the ice cubes out of it and melting it into her fur to keep her cool. It was insane. It's probably the hottest I've ever experienced. I use hockey tape for grip. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Hockey tape sounds right. But that's like specialist equipment, right? Like the hockey tape, what else are you using hockey tape for? Does the long ball problem come up enough to warrant investing in dedicated tape, or is this more like a that's why I was thinking like gaffer tape or duct tape, having some multi-purpose adhesive strips so that you're not buying dedicated ball tape. Alright, so agenda today. We're going to hit these boys with this first layer pass of our green and get our color corrected. We're going to make sure they're not blobbed up with pooling that is so thick it creates physical areas of paint, raised areas. And then we're going to hit our lads over there with the second pass of the olive drab. So we will be getting out the airbrush again today. And then hopefully by the time we're done with that, we can like come back around to painting on these guys. And I think if I recall correctly, these fellers are gonna be like the snake pattern camo that we showed in the picture, and then we'll have the tartan pattern somewhere on the mechs. And then their missiles are supposed to be yellow with caution stripes. So really looking forward to that part. You know, I love caution stripes. They are totally not fun to paint. All right, so we get our paint on. It's gonna be patchy. It's gonna have that like contrast look to it, but I'm okay with that. We're gonna have so much like dry brushing and layering work over top of this that any of that type stuff is gonna be completely hidden. These will not look patchy in the end. Mostly we want that dark color down and the lighter colored edges is what we're going for. The grippiest balls. You could also tie a knot in the pouch to hang them higher. Ah, yes. Skateboard deck tape? No, that's awful. Caution stripes are awesome. Yeah, they look cool, but man, they are not fun to paint. They're not even the slightest bit fun to paint. This is already drying out a little bit. Let's put a few drops of water in there. Get this. So this is the worst culprit here for that that heavy pooling. So we want to be really careful and super cognizant of what's happening here. Just don't want it to pool up too bad.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Yes. I hope to get clear of these projects, honestly, y'all, and get started back in on some of the other fun things we've talked about and kind of half started. Got a ton of footage to work with, actually. Like the entirety of that Essentials box got painted up and readied. All right. Progress. Just the whole time we're spreading this shit around, we're watching for really thick pooling on this guy, and see, it's already trying to do it right there. Alright, we just want good coverage, solid everywhere. Let it do its magic. Let it do its thing. Trust in the process. It looks patchy, it looks blobby. That's not gonna matter. We want that surface variation. A lot of that's going to get minimized with our weathering. There we go. That looks way better. Let's try to make sure we don't have too much pooling. All right, that looks good. We'll re-regard this mech in a bit. All right, next we have our war dog. I think we're actually going to put a few more drops of water in this stuff. Thin it out just a tiny bit. Just a bit. I do have a fan blowing at me, and it's probably wicking a little bit of moisture out of our mixture here. This one's already kind of there, actually, with that second layer that we did yesterday. Just making sure to get solid coverage. Trying to avoid getting bubbles in the thing as much as we can avoid it. It's really easy to start working really fast and end up with too many bubbles. And the risk with the bubbles is just that if you have too many of them, each one has a chance to not pop properly, which could create some issues in the finish. So just spreading it around, giving this boy a good rub down, an ingreenment even. All right, just about there. See, that's too much pooling there. Welcome, Slink. Welcome, Landsnicked 1525. Hope you're doing well. We are digging into some more painting. We're working on a commission. We're going to be painting every day till these boys are done. We're in the nice, riveting, super exciting base coating step. Working with some homemade contrast style mix to get a nice variated coverage. We want the darker color in the crevices and the lighter color on the edges. It's going to really help with our later coats. It's going to try to help match the black that we put on in a bit. When these dry, we're going to go back over with a black contrast paint to do the striping. I almost grabbed my alcohol to drink. Hello, Mr. Tyler Stenbridge. I think it's always great to see the paint job evolve from base to final. Yeah, I agree too. It's taking a bit of a different tack this time because this is this project now is an effort on my part to restore confidence for my client's experience. I'm really pushing it close to the deadline this time without any meaningful progress. So we're gonna get this thing done. We're gonna hit that deadline, and we're just gonna capture pretty much the whole thing. I haven't really done much painting off camera at this point at all. It's all right here. The difference once you start progressing through layers, because you start with the base coat and think this sucks. Oh yeah, every miniature goes through the ugly phase. That is well and true. Well and true. We're actually correcting a problem now. My initial color choice for the contrasty tone was wrong, and I think it's interesting to note when you're mixing your own colors to be a contrast style color, get that contrast style coverage, your final result is not going to be the color that you started with. Not really. It's gonna have some variation to it. It's gonna have some brighter and darker bits, and it's a little hard to predict that. So if you end up doing like I did and go with a really light color, it's even lighter. It's more whitish on the edges. The performance of that uniform green was similar to like GW's Aethermatic Blue. I don't know if any of y'all have worked with that, but it's got like it leaves a lot of white. It's a very pale color. So we have corrected course with our, what was the new color? Luftwaffe Camo Green. about a 60-40 mix of this into the other one. And I think what we can do is, when this dries, we can come back in with a dry brush of that other color, the uniform green we're going for. I like the gunslinger. I've never played with one myself. I'm actually sitting here looking at the sculpt thinking everything's pretty good about it, except for the detail on the front of these guns is really soft. They should have really really emphasized some of the lines right here, because that is a really soft detail, and it's going to fall on a painter to really bring that back out, instead of like trusting in the sculpt to do so. All right, this guy had a big patch where we left white, so we're fixing that right now. And then we got one more of these boys to go, and then we're going to switch over to the airbrush briefly, do another pass on our black remnant, get those nice and base coated up, and then hopefully these guys are going to be dry enough for a dry brush coat over top. I think that looks okay. Let's reduce some of the pooling here and there. We don't want to end up with another overloaded meniscus like we did on the Black Knight. Just gonna lift off some of that from the deepest points. And I think that looks pretty good. We got a fun variation on the surface quality of the mech. Solid one to play. Got dual gauss, so it always hurts. Two rear-facing medium pulse lasers in the legs, though, if I recall correctly. Fun. I love a good rear-facing laser. I think, you know, they don't get used a ton in my games, but every now and then it's super nice to have one, just to like put a little heat on would-be harassers. That locust might think twice before running up behind your gunslinger to deliver some SRM punch. If you have those pulse lasers ready to go, ready to catch it up, even though it's sprinting. I do really love the idea of a pulse laser facing rear. Kind of makes sense. Like I think it makes even more sense than a standard rear facing armament. Like using the pulse quality to ensure a hit when you'd otherwise be shooting at a secondary target. Makes sense to me. Done it. Done it. I dig it. I digs it. You know, it sucks. This is working so well. I almost regret not taking this approach on those guys. I just figured we'd really build those up with dry brush. I'm pretty sure that's how we did it before. 2 gauss, 3 medium lasers, 1 small laser, 2 medium pulse, 352, 15 tons of armor, 85 tons of heads of XL. The XL, I'm okay with XL. I think, like, yeah, it makes your mech more killable, right? But it also makes for games that finish. Things start to move decisively when you're dealing with mechs with XL engines, and you've got enough firepower, thanks to the saved weight, that you're throwing a lot of dice, you're getting more hits. It's part of why I really like the FedCom era. It's not like it doesn't take as much skill to pilot machines, so I feel like you lose a little bit of the fundamentals of BattleTech by not having to deal with like some crazy suck wars heat management, but you're also getting to play with really fun machines and advances in technology without it going too crazy. It's my favorite. Plus, you know, MechWarrior 4 and MechWarrior 4 Mercs just like instilled that in me. I am quite partial to it. In fact, I don't know if y'all are aware, but resident community member and sculptor Mr. Mako Prince has been coming up with some really fabulous designs for FedCom era stuff. So make sure to check out Mako Prince if you're not aware of them over on My Mini Factory. Consider signing up as a triber today and getting access to a monthly release schedule. I think each era has its pros and cons. Yeah, I agree. And it's the type of thing I kind of want to normalize and give a little love to each era. Maybe over the rest of this year or going into next year. Some nice streamed games and some content featuring on mechs. Featuring mechs that are, you know, fun stuff. I've got a lance. Man, I can't remember what it's called. I've got an Iron Wind Metals lance, the one that came with the Zeus X. So that could be a good one to dive into that era. I'm pretty sure that's Jihad era. All right. Now we're gonna dig back out these boys. It's funny, I did that whole thing about battle damage before, and now we're not actually working with battle damage on these boys anymore. Because I had the wrong prints. All right. What do we got here? Let's get out our cup again. I think this is the one we used. It looks like the right color. We're gonna spray some more, wrong one. I'm gonna spray some more camo olive green. We're gonna hit these fellers with another coat of the airbrush. We're gonna get back in. Oh, thank you, Mr. Another Nate. Link in the chat for the for Mako Prince. Yeah, check him out. He's working hard and is a perfectionist for the work and doesn't get quite enough recognition for that, in my humble opinion. All right, where are we at? We're only at 48 minutes in, feeling pretty good about it. Let's see how well our airbrush works after yesterday.
Alright, let's see how the mic levels are. It looks okay to me. Boom, we don't need to film this time, but we do need to glove up. Alright, so I'm going to take our camo olive green. I'm going to give a good amount in there. I think that's enough. Now we're going to take some clean water with our pipette. And I think we're going to double dip it. I'm just going by gut feeling here. There's no rhyme or reason to that. I just know I need it thin. And that's going to be our starting point. Let's get in there and mix it up. Let's get this where y'all can kind of see. And basically we want this nice and mixed, and then we want it We want the paint where it runs freely down the sides. See that, like, it's got like a translucency to it, but it's very flowy. That's what we want. Okay. And with that, let's see if we can't get our, let's get back out the airbrush. I don't see my needle. Oh, this is problematic. My needle appears to be missing. Alright, this is really bad, actually. Let's move this fucking thing. There it is. Woo! I just set it in a weird spot. Alright. Alright, looks like our action moves. So that's good. Looks like we did a piss poor job of wiping this down. We've got some gunk on the tip. So before we get started on that, we're gonna get out our brush we've been using for cleaning. And we're gonna get a little bit of acetone. That would have sucked. Yeah. I have another one, so it's not, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I lost it, but, it really speaks to putting things in the right place when you set them down. Our tip is kind of crusty. Not gonna lie. It looks okay now. Alright, so we got our needle clean. Now let's see if our needle slides through the action without any hang-ups. Yeah, it's really tight. It's really tight, so what we're going to do now is we're going to troubleshoot. And I think what we'll do here is just pull this back bit off. All the way. Come on, mister. We want this thing. This is where we're binding. Yeah, right there. Okay. So I want just a little bit of acetone ready to go. Right there. That's enough. And we're gonna soak that tip where we have the binding. Get some acetone in there. I can see some crud coming out of the end of it. So I've mentioned before that this airbrush unfortunately has a because you pull the needle back through the machine when you're done, it pulls paint into this bit right here, which is really bad, really bad design. And it sucks because having the ball on the end of this needle is really nice for gripping, but it is really bad for the cleanup, for the post-spray process. Alright, we're just gonna give this a little bit of love. Clean it up some. As much as we can. This is the part that usually gives me hang-ups. So we're just gonna, get in there and just push the other way through. There we go. And now we want to clean our tip too. So we're gonna clean all that gunk off. Actually, I want this acetone on our claw. Get this boy good and cleaned off. Nice clean needle now. Nice clean action. Let's come back in. We're going to put our boy back together. So what we want to do, get this on the spring assembly. We're going to come in here. We're going to we'll set our button, our trigger, on the valve. We'll come in with the follower. I don't know what you call this thing, the lever maybe. And we'll stick it in there. Make sure it's twisted in the right orientation, and it is. And now put our spring in position. There we go. We'll rotate our, whatever you call this fucking thing. Do you have any reg dab? I've never heard of that. What's reg dab? Put this back together. There we go. And now put this guy on there, and we should have a nice clean push through. Fingers crossed. It's a little tight in here, but I think that's fine. Let's crank this down. Yeah, it's a little tight in here, but I think it's okay. The action feels a little, it's not the smoothest, but once we lubricate it, it should be fine. Alright, so we're going to connect our air source. We're going to turn on the compressor. Let's just shoot some water through it real quick. Yeah, I think it's working. Airbrush lube. No, I've never heard of that. I should probably invest in some. Right. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to give y'all one of these. Let's go with a nice turquoise gong. Which orientation today you think? I think we can go from like here up to here. Right like that. Alright, let's go for it. We've got some pretty small balls today. There we go. Put a little shading in this time, I think. A little shading down there. There you go. That's for you, chat. Hello, have a great paint job. Welcome to Go For It Painting. Today, we're just more of the same. We're grinding along towards completing these mechs for our client. Let's take a second actually and clean out our turquoise reservoir here. I think we're actually going to shoot some acetone through it real quick, just a little bit. Again, if your airbrush has internal O-rings, your mileage may vary here. Vaseline works just as well. What? I'm incredulous, mate. Really? Does that not clot up an airbrush? I would have thought like a dry lube or something would be the way. Okay, so let's shoot a few drops of water and just make sure we're not spraying any blue still. All right, we're gonna go into our nicely thin camo green. And we're gonna start shooting all over these boys. Now this is really thin paint, so again, we don't want to flood the surface. If you flood it, you're going to end up having a bad time. But we absolutely want solid coverage this time, as opposed to the contrast paint style stuff last time. We're just going to hit it with little spurts here and there. We're looking for spots that we left out that were kind of weak coverage last time. We're giving them a little more love. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we do want this coat to be pretty solid. Now, if you were working on this yourself at home, you could probably save a step by using like an olive drab primer color and not have to do the second like full coverage layer on these boys. So we're just gonna look for the spots that need it, hit them with a little bit of love, spray them down with a little bit of paint, get them going. You only apply it to the needle real thin. Okay, I see. Let me know if that flickering gets too bad, and I'll reset the camera. Now, I think we may be putting some artificial shadows on these soon. We'll do some little tricks with the airbrush today. Kind of what I'm thinking is we'll hit these guys from the bottom with a dark shadow and then hit them top down with a little bit of a lighter tone. Just create some variation on that paint color. We just want to get in there and get some good coverage. Alright, it's 3 down out of 6. Like, you impregnate a paper towel with Vaseline, just rub the shaft until slippery. Are you sure we're talking about the same thing, Another Nate? That sounds like you might be talking about something different. You rub the shaft until it slippers, yeah? Huh. No, we're probably talking about the same thing here.
We're talking about the thugs. T
We
is
are
for
talking
terrible,
about the
H is
thugs.
for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail. Cause the thug king fell.
Yeah. Fucking Tracy Smothers, dude. I can't think of a better man to hate than Tracy Smothers. He really did a great job playing a character that embodied that whole like old school Southern mentality of a rebel and an outlaw. He was a really good heel. R.I.P. Tracy Smothers. You can't have good wrestling without good villains. Just saying. Resting in jail, Mr. Smothers. Ah, yes. He lives in the jail in the sky. Holy moly. Yeah, we were talking about peeners. Okay, yeah. I thought so. It sounded like that might have been about peeners and not airbrush needles. Alright, so we're just cranking the trigger down gently here and there. A little bit here, a little bit there. Little tappy-doos. Sometimes we're pulling back on it real hard, but just very briefly. I love airbrush work, y'all. It is so good. Alright. Alright, I think we got just enough here to do the blood asp now. And the blood asp has a few spots where it got nicked, where I knocked it off the table with my big old butt. So we're going to try to cover over those holes in the paint. They're very small, so it won't be a ton of work to do so. Gonna get our boy nice and coated. So from here, what I want to do, I want to create a nice I want to do a nice shadow effect on the underside. So I should probably film that, to be honest. And what we'll do for that, I think we'll take our camo olive green and we'll put in some no, not that one. I want like a really dark green. Really dark green. I know I have one. German camo dark green. That's what we're going to use. So we're going to mix a kind of a subtle undershade. We're going to film it. We're going to film it on at least one model. Hey, they released my copyright claim the last time I used the intro song that I used today. You think I'll have to make a claim, a dispute again today? I bet you I will. Alright, pro video. God damn it. I'm going to show this to the camera. We got our olive green and our dark green. Alright, so we're going to take some of that. I'll take some of that. And we'll take some of this. Boom. We're gonna mix it up. It might not actually be dark enough, but that's fine. We're gonna go for some subtle stuff here. Yeah, I think that's indistinguishably I don't think you can tell a fucking difference. Damn it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pour that directly into the trash. We're going to start over. We're going to show the camera our dark green. We're going to come in here and we're going to hit that with some of that. And we're going to come in with some water. Zoop and a zoop. Zoop twice. There we go. Two dollopas. And we're going to give this a little spin around. And now we've got a darker tone. Nice darker tone right there. Alright. Hey, sometimes you just gotta start over, right? Let's pop this down. Let's pop this down. Boom. Okay, so again, we're going to take our little airbrush. We'll get our darker tone this time. And we'll take our mix from before. And we're going to be very careful to hit just the undersides of stuff. We come in, we create some artificial shadows from underneath. We're being very, very gentle. Very small amounts of paint. And it's a super subtle dark shade shadow on our boys. Basically, feet, inside of legs, armpits, waist, butt, crotch, again the waist, underside of arms, bottom up. That's it. Very subtle, very thin work. For something like the Dragonfire with that long torso, we can put it flowing along the body some. Let's shoot it on the underside. Less is more here. We're creating a shadow. Less is more. Less is more. Alright, we'll continue with the next. Hey, look, an ad! I love an ad. I'm such a fan. Bottom of the feet, bottom of the leg, the ass, underside of the arm, the waist, same as before, ass, underside of leg, inside of leg, my moisture trap is not fucking working, dude. This thing is kind of spitting water at my neck here. Get that going. I'm losing biscuits. Oh, you couldn't possibly lose biscuits. How many? Oh fuck, you're only at 1.10 trillion. Okay, so I actually would like this a little bit darker. So I think what we're going to do here I think we're actually going to pop in like a drop of black. Yeah. We're gonna come in with black. I'm gonna do a single drop in there. Bam. And then mix that up and see what it looks like. Black is really strong, so we gotta be super careful with it. I think we could get away with one more drop. We'll do one more drop. One more drop. You're just blowing fucking bubbles. Enough of the bubbles. Nice! That's a good spill there, Mr. Country Fried. That's a good spill. Yeah, I think we're getting a nice darker shadow now. Okay. We're gonna do the same thing we just did. Let's compensate for the 2 drops of paint with 2 drops of water. Keep this nice and thin. Same deal. We're gonna come in with our even darker coat. And we're gonna be really gentle with this pass. We're just gonna deepen what we've already done. Try to reserve this for the darkest areas, you know? Alright. On down the line. Ooh, I'm number 1. Yes, indeed, mister.
The number one. The number one and the best.
Is the Antichrist.
But I'm God! Not God! Because the Antichrist, it's me!
Just very gently boosting the darkness. Very, very gently. Thing is just sputtering water. Okay. Deepening them shadows, giving them a little love. Deepen it up. Okay, we got through that so quick, our models are still wet. A little bit at least. Just same deal. All those areas we hit before, just a little bit more. We're going to darken them up. Get in there, get in there. Bottoms of those feet really need some love right here. There we go. A little bit under the chin maybe. There we go. Pow! Nice work. Excellent. Alright, let's shoot a little water through our airbrush. I think we're going to take this and we're going to get rid of it. We're going to pour that directly into the trash can. Just like last time. And I'm actually going to come in here with a paper towel. Because I'm just going to keep using this cup here. I'm going to show you a number 1 iron elemental. What does that mean, Mr. Nate? Okay. So what I want to do now, I want to find a lighter version of this. So we've got our olive green. I think we can maybe just like mix some khaki into it. Honestly, or maybe some Middlestone. Middlestone might be really good for it. I think that's what we're going to do. but we're not going to mix a whole bunch into it. So we got our shadows boosted. Now we want our highlights boosted. Right? Boom, pro video. Get this going. We're going to show olive green and middle stone. I'm going to shoot some in there. I'm going to shoot some of this in there too. Like a half and half. And we're going to blast that twice in water. And we're going to mix it up. The middle stone is actually quite powerful. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit more of our camo green in there. We put a few drops to compensate for the added paint. We're going to stir it right up. Yeah, there we go. We got this nice olivey tone going on here. And we're going to put it in our airbrush. And we will take our mix. Make sure we don't have any paint on our fingers when we grab them. And we're going to hold the model up and above. We're going to hit them top down. Top down. That's going to give us a nice little bit of variation on them. So I don't know if y'all can see, but from the top down to the back into the shadows is a nice subtle, very subtle gradation. We don't want to go too far with this. We're not doing the whole effect on these models with that, because we're going to be doing dry brushing and stuff later and chipping, but we want this nice subtle bit. Who needs a gift on this podcast? Yes. Yeah, you know, the next step, YouTube really just needs to do something with the top fans tab. There really needs to be a way for you to like redeem about it or like brag to other people in chat about it. But once again, they've like they've kind of done a half measure of an integration. There we go. We got that nice little subtle gradient on our boy. Again, top down on the bull shark. Same deal. We're about to run out of paint. Let's get a little more. Whoop. We're trying to keep it really straight up and down. We can tilt it a little bit, but we want to be very controlled in that approach. There we go. And I think we want to do one more quick blast from the top. Boom. On each one. Very directed. Straight down, very quickly opening the valve fully. And I think that's got our airbrush work done for now. Shark Lady ready, LOL. I'll half measure your integration, then I'll double it for a close approximation for the actual integration metric. I'm confused. Did you post the Shark Lady, Mr. Comstar? Have you posted, Mr.? If you posted, we could talk about it. All right, yeah, let's talk about it. I want to drink some coffee anyways. We'll let these guys secure for a second. We can pop over to the other computer briefly.
Thing hurts my face a little bit. That thing hurts my face a little bit. Yeah, let's pop over there. We'll talk about your Shark Lady. Let's do a critique. I'm gonna hit the BRB and then meet you at the other computer. 2 minutes, FW. What stream are you talking about? I'm drawing penises on the mat. Turn on this thing. We'll turn on that thing. She got her ichthy titties out. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open these. I'm gonna open these up in another window. Yeah. I like what you're doing here with the gray, but I'm gonna save my commentation for actually getting it open. All right, let's turn this on. Let's see. We can let's mute that because it's getting me. All right, where's my cat paw? Where's my cat paw? I don't have the cat paw on. I need the cat paw on so I can show y'all what I'm pointing at, right? Cat paw. Turn on our cat paw. Cat paw. Cat paw. Yes, cat paw. Now you can see my thing. Alrighty. She got her ichthy titties out. She do got her ichthy titties out. Also, somebody babinks some adorable mutant floops. Hold on. What are you talking about? Babinked? Nate is as always working hard to produce some horrific things. Horrific things. You say adorable? I don't know, but I think we're gonna take these things and maybe run with them in a campaign soon. It's a kitty. I don't think you can consider that a kitty. That's kind of evil. This thing would kill your party. Same here. This thing sees right into your soul and would absolutely manifest these like eldritch tentacles inside your butthole. Whatever generation software you did has done a great job in making them cutesy, but they are not. These are not cute friends. These are destroyers. All right, let's take a peek. Look at them eyes, though. Yes. Okay. All right, thoughts, chat. What's our thoughts here? What's our initial thoughts on Comstar's work here? Let's go through them. I'll give you all a second. What's our thoughts here, y'all? You say this is NSFW, but like the nips, you didn't like detail areolas, so I think this is actually fine for the old YouTubes. All right, so first off, I want to point out you had that layer shift, and I had recommended you turn it into a scar. This is really fucking fantastically done. The light color with the pink like in the crevices and the blending. Mr. Comstar, I think every time you've posted a mech, you've leveled up a little bit. Honestly. Just a bit. What we got going on here? We got a little bit more scuffage up at the top here. We got some blush in the face. I like the two-tone approach on the coral crown. Nice rich color palette. The natural kind of warm sandy color on the base contrasts really nicely with your use of grays and greens and blues. The eyes are fucking fabulous. They have like an almost dead look to them, and I think that's appropriate for a predator. The NMM is looking really nice, balancing off of the rest of our work here. Like a coral tip going on here. Some really warm colors. This line right here is super nice. Super nice. The greens and the pinks together really good. Love your use of a black tip on the tail. This interface right here, the dark line to the belly and then the pink underneath. Super nice choice. The blends are looking really good here. I like the patchiness that you've achieved in the gray. Critique time though. Critiques. What are we looking at critique with? Where are we gonna tear you apart? I think your sketchy marks on the top, I think using those in whatever this white is tends towards a little bit of chalkiness when you break it down. So like the thin areas on that looks a little chalky. You'd probably be really good off mixing in like a light blue and then coming back in with the white in more of a solid approach. The areas where you've done the little scratchy bits are it's got that white paint chalkiness to it. You know what I'm saying? Nice definition between the rings on these fins here. That's really nice. Fingies could use some love. They're small areas, but like that looks like a glaring shadow to me right there. I think it could use a little bit more love. The pink, I just can't get over the pink. The little pink inclusions are really fucking super nice. Little bit of pink on the shadow on the belly. The little bit of pink in here, that's really fucking nice. The scratches on the trident, that's looking fantastic. Nips are well done. I like that you chose to not go with areolas. It's very nice. Again, the little bit of pink here is super fun. Where's your growth here? Light blue okies. It just, the white looks a little chalky when it thins out that much on these strokes on top. I think you had another image that really demonstrates that. Where did you post at? Was that in Minis on Parade? Minis on Parade? Was it Hobby Corner? No, it was not the kids' table because titties. Yeah. Hold on, I'm getting there. There was a shot earlier that really illustrated that. Right here before you built it up. I know that this is earlier in the process and you've changed it since then. But like you see how the white pigment, like, you can't break the white pigment down to the point where it blends smoothly. So I think coming in with a blue where you've got all this white first, and then using the white like you've got right here in the, like, these spots where it's like nicely, it's real strong, it's well pigmented. I think that over top of a blue. So like if you'd done this with a blue tone where you've got the like translucent white, you'd be able to feather it a little better without the titanium white does the same thing that middle stone was doing when I was working on the goblin. You can't break it to the point of smooth blending. So you need like an intermediary tone to serve that. Fingies. Yes. This is fantastic, Comstar. Actually, honestly, I think the biggest critique I have for you is your use of titanium white, which is always fucking hard to do anyways. What I would have wanted to see, you should have sanded that line right there. Should have sanded that layer slip. I like what you did over here because it's like an inwards mark, but that's an outwards bump that is an unnaturally straight line. You should have sanded that. And maybe these holes here. I think that's your next step, mister. I think that's where you're at. You're getting hella good at what you're doing in the paint table. So I think you could maybe use a little love in your model prep. More medium? No. With white, I disagree. The problem is the titanium dioxide is such a big molecule that it never fully blends out. You need an intermediary. You could always add a scar there. That'd be a good way to do it. I think you might struggle with the outy nature of it though. Like that, I would have hit that with a sanding stick just a little bit. This is fantastic work, Mr. Comstar. And every time you post a piece here, I see clear and steady growth into your hobby. You know, I used to say that Zet's paints like a madman, but I think that you have definitely been the... Are you the most prolific painter in the CFM community? I think in regularity of posts, yes. I think in regularity of posts, absolutely. I think Zets may still have you beat in model count. Slink says a scab scar could work something healed out, over and out rather than in. Yeah. Does it run across the gills? Do we have an image that shows that a little better? Did you post one that shows that whole mark? Yeah, you know, maybe you could. Here, I'll open this process pic. It doesn't hit the gills. So you could probably get away with making that into another scar. It looks to me glaringly like a layer line. If it was me, I would have sanded that one down and then kept the other one like you did. This is fucking perfection, man. That scar, holy shit, that looks like a surgery scar, dude. That's very nice. Very fucking nice work. The lightning and then the glazed in pink, that's... Wow, so good. Chef's kiss. 10 out of 10. I struggled to find critical things to say about it. A keloid, yeah. Well, keloid, I think you... I don't know. It's just, it's so clean and perfect. I think at this scale it might work. But yeah, if it was me, I'd have got rid of that one and then done exactly what you did right here. This, c'est magnifique. All right, fantastic work. Excellent, mister. Well appreciated. Yeah. You rock, sir. You rock. How do I switch this back? We go right here. Beep. Then I mute this mic. All right, here we go. Back to paint stream. I could also cover the other scar with a remora. That's a lot of work. It could be fun. Hack into it a bit for some bumpiness. That could also work. I think just simple is better is the big takeaway and what I would emphasize. You know, our boy's gradient is a little bit more subtle than I was expecting. So I think we're actually going to hit these with one more layer real quick. We're going to hit these with one more layer. I think we're just going to straight up use the middle stone. Remora, like glue another fish to the side? Yeah. Putty fill sand goon. Wait. Putty fill sand goon. What's a sand goon? Is that where you're... I'm picturing either gooning in the sand or like you're gooning and sand comes out. I don't know which is worse, actually. That is how remora do. It is how remora do. All right. Where's my damn... All right, we're going to do one more short pass. I want a little bit brighter. I want a little bit more on the gradient on top of these boys. So we're going to attack it with a little bit more middle stone, and I think we're just using basically straight middle stone. I dumped out the cup, and now we're going to make some really thin middle stone. Wait. And we're just going to squirt a little bit of this on top real quick. I'm not even going to put on PPE. It's going to be so fast. Like, a little bit of atomized plastic isn't going to kill me. That is objectively wrong. Always wear PPE, by the way. Do not do as I do. Care for your health. That delicious Vallejo smell. It's like a soapiness. You're gonna die. I mean, we all die. Not like I'm in here spraying xylene directly into my asshole. That's the Friday show. We just want a little bit more contrast on these guys. Just a little bit more. Just a bit more. Right on the top of their domes. That's leaving a texture in my mouth. Alright, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Enough spraying. I wear PPE when I do. The rest of the time I don't. I mean, was that any worse than the stream where I spray painted GW paint, spray paint right here in the booth? No, I think it was not even on par. All right, let's turn off this compressor. Look at all that paint we wasted, y'all. It's all wasted. I'm not gonna do that again. Oh. I have since learned that you maybe shouldn't eat paint even if it's funny. And even if you're trying to trigger Mr. Nathan, you shouldn't eat paint. Don't eat paint, y'all. Don't lick your brush. But inhaling atomized bits of it, yeah, that's probably okay. He's jerking off. Now it paints the bottom of the... No, it paints the bottom of the trash can. It doesn't even make it to the bottom. My trash can has like a pile of paper towel on top, so it's just going right into those paper towels. What are we doing now? What are we doing now? I think we're looking back at these boys who got the contrast paint, homemade contrast paint treatment. And I think we might be rubbing on these fellers with some more contrast colors. Guy's got, his foot didn't get any paint on it. Do we have a little bit left here? We do have a little bit left. Let's get some water. Try to bring this back to life enough to cover that foot spot that got missed. There we go. I think we're going to do a dry brush on these fellers to kind of bring out our patchy contrast green. Yeah. So let's come into here. Let's pick up all that water we just put down. Okay. All right, so I want some uniform green, and I want like a little bit of a yellowy tone into it. Xylene on the bunghole. Friday show sounds lit. No, it's in the bunghole. If you keep on painting the inside of a trash can, how many layers would turn it solid? Well, this has got like... This has got like 20 years worth on it, and it's probably only... How thick would I estimate that is? It's probably about 3 millimeters thick, solid across the whole thing. I mean, obviously it's bumpy in places. It's mostly little dollops, but this is probably about 3 millimeters after 20 years. We're gonna go potty? No. You talking about walking the dogs or something? What's gonna be our like highlighty tone for these? I think we're gonna move uniform green into yellow ochre, maybe. I think that's what we're gonna go for here. But let's start with just some straight uniform green and see how that goes. So we're gonna do that. And then we've got our... I should probably film this, actually. Should probably be filming this. I'm wanting to make some kind of cohesive piece of content out of this somehow. So we've got our boys here. We've got this right here is uniform green. And then we're going to get a nice Drybrushin brush. Do I have a good dry brush anymore? How about this one? This one looks pretty good to me. It is a little worse for wear though. I think we're gonna run this through sun first. I'm just thinking about How a Xylene bunghole stream is gonna be lit. Oh my fucking god. That's something else. I hear it's how you get superpowers. I may or may not have been told by a resident Nathan that Xylene will give you superpowers. Alright, here we go. Very nice shitty dry brushing brush. Nice shitty dry brushing brush, and we got our texture palette here, which is covered in hair. Gross. Get out of here. Got our texture palette, and we're gonna get in here, and we're gonna use a texture palette over a piece of cardboard to retain the moisture in our paint. We're gonna remove most of it here. We're gonna get down to a nice, very light amount of green in our brush. And we're gonna pick one of these boys, and we're gonna do a little test patch right here on the back of the leg. Hit that up and see what it's doing. See how it's looking. I'm pretty okay with that, and we're just gonna go to town. Give them an all over rub down and trust in those catalyst details to really drink up the dry brush work. I'm gonna come in, we're gonna hit our texture palette again. I'm gonna remove until we got just a little bit of paint on the brush. We're gonna come in and we're gonna love our boy. Love that boy all over. Get all his edges, we're avoiding his nooks and his crannies. We want his surfaces and his edges, you know, edge that boy really well. We're gonna just aggressively dry brush the fuck out of this model. And the idea here is we're gonna pull back into that uniform green we had originally decided on, but leave the darker color in the crevices, and this should also hopefully address some of the patchiness that we had. So we can do a side-by-side comparison. Very subtle, but yet there is a difference. Boom. I'm going to texture your palette. Aren't brushes meant to be covered in here? Yeah, it is true. Adhesive content. Yes. Yes. Abrasive adhesive, even. Alright, so we're going to need a lot more paint here. Alright, we're just going to bump, 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 bump. You know, those of y'all who are regular viewers of these streams, have you started to recognize any of these songs in other people's YouTube videos? I hear them all over the place. The X in X-Men stands for Xylene, yes. Inglutinating content, yes. Now you're getting it. So the thing about the Xylene, so you take the airbrush and you blast the Xylene into your butt, and that way you have like a nice, you get a little bit of air in there to kind of inflate things a bit, but you also get, you get the solvent in there, right? So that way when you come back in with your BSI extra thin and you give this a good squirt right up in there, you get all the heat, and you don't get the adverse health effects of it immediately adhering your walls to your walls, you know? By the way, I am not advocating for squirting super glue into your asshole. Please do not do that. Oh God, do not do that. Let me be very clear. Yeah, all the time I notice Lupus Nocti and random things. Yeah, it's just like, it's all over the place. You know, I've been paying for a license for Epidemic Sound for like 3 years now. So it's just like, I'm aware of the music. I'm aware of this royalty-free music that's not truly royalty-free, that I would never hear otherwise. I use an airless system to get superpowers from Hobby Chemicals. Yeah, but you know, I'm wondering if in your process of getting superpowers, it's your liver actually transmuting things as you absorb it through your stomach. All right, so very heavy dry brush. We've brought this into kind of a dull forest green, which is the intention here. So we've got our darker color in the crevices, and they're mostly the original intended color. And we're going to hit these again with a top-down effect of the dry brush and kind of bring them into a very satisfying position. DCI stands for direct colonic injection. It's so wrong, dude. PSI, penile superglue intake. But it's B. It's not a P, it's a B for butthole. PSI with a drop. Oh no. Something's wrong with you. What would run an entrance? I mean, it is if you're using a suppository. Could you make a suppository capsule with xylene inside it so that it's like a time delay death? PSI from the airbrush, gotta squirt it deep. Ah, yes. Yes, very deep. We're very mature around here, don't you know? Very mature. Very, very, very mature. Only the most maturest. Audiences only. Talking about the thug. T is for tumescence, H is for huge, U is for underpants, and G is for genitals. I don't know why, but that's what it is. Butthole solvent infusant. Yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Good old glug of fucking extra thin to make sure you die from the squirt. We ought to ask ChatGPT what would happen if you squirted a glug of extra thin hobby cement into your asshole. I mean, it would be bad. You'd die. I think you would just die. Okay, back to work. See you fellas next time. You have a lovely work day, Mr. Frank M. Thank you for stopping by and keeping us entertained. Oh my god. Let's give this guy some love. We're just hitting this all over every square inch. Rubbing this lad down. Nice dry brushing. You shit blood piss chemicals. We already asked ChatGPT about various solvent adjustments a while ago. Yeah, but I kind of want to know specifically what would happen if you put like half an ounce of extra thin super glue into your colon. It'd be really bad, right? Super glue doesn't need oxygen, right? Like it would cure and harden and create a problem. And I'm pretty sure it would bond like instantaneously, wouldn't it? It would like work with the moisture in there and it'd be a really bad problem. I'm wondering how much of that chemical you would actually absorb into your bloodstream. It's a non-zero amount, but I bet you a lot of it would just cure instead of being absorbed. Super glue reacts to moisture in such a huge amount would get super hot. Oh yeah, so you need the long applicator tip. Yes, I'm talking like fucking 5 inches. Get it real deep up in there. Water is what cures cyanacrylate. Is it actually water? I thought the water like created a like a site for it to engage. I can't remember. I know I watched the video on it, the Veritasium one. It's not like PVA, which is actually like drying. Dry brush. We dry brush the minis. We dry brush them. We get them looking good with a few strokes. I'm running out of paint. I'm going to have to put some more out again. Once again. Alright, I gotta put more out. Air might burn your bum inside while gluing the gate shut forever. Unless it doesn't stick to flowing blood, you end up sharding sharp crystallized splinters. I love when I shard out sharp crystallized splinters. That's why I eat so much glass. It's such a fun sensation. And the blood, oh, don't even get me started about the blood. There's so much. You want to really freak your friends out at a dinner party? Come out of the bathroom shrieking with a red stain running down all the way down your pant leg. What the fuck is this channel, dude? Solvent abuse, penises, titties on stream. Maybe an occasional painted model. Sometimes straight screeching into the microphone. Nate is correct. Any moisture will do. Turns its monomers into polymers rapidly. Rapidly. In an exothermic reaction. I imagine it would be a runaway one inside your colon. I feel like this is a thing you could use in like one of those shock films, the shock horror films, where it's just like shock for shock's value. Super glue. Yes. Okay, so we got our first layer on these boys. I think we're gonna come back in with skip the ad. Country Fried Restraining Order. Yes, this is true. The painted models are kind of weird for YouTube content. You know, of everything I've painted on stream, I still think my favorite is Edna. She lives up here permanently now, you know. She's by far my favorite. I might have to photogram her into the RPG collection. All right, so we're gonna take our uniform and our yellow ochre, and we're gonna do like just like a straight 50-50, I think here. Cat Lady's so good. She's my favorite. Such a good model. I highly recommend buying it and painting it if you want something fun and different to try out. It's a Reaper Chronoscope model, so it shouldn't cost you more than like $6. All right, let's get this mixed up. Nice light highlighty color here. Excuse me. Alright, so we're going to dip again. We'll do the same thing we did, only I think with less of an aggressive approach. I'm going to rub down our texture palette until we're kind of coming off clean. And we're going to start with that same model again. It's still a little heavy, I think. And we're just going to hit it with some top-down strokes. Top-down strokes, top-down strokes, stroke, stroke, stroke. Get those edges, bring them out. Edge that lad. Maybe at the top of the knees some. We're basically doing the same thing we did for those other models with the airbrush, but with dry brush here. Focusing it towards the top. That looks pretty good to me. Boom. Rectal fragmentation, claymore, point rear towards enemies. Yes. Weaponized paper tube technologies combined with the paper tube, I bet it can cut armor. I bet you're right. I bet you are correct. Like a crapnel bomb. You proud of yourself on that one? I'd be. That's a good one. Fucking crapnel bomb. Alright, so we're same deal. Attacking this boy top down. We might hit the tops of the knees and stuff, but we're just gonna focus this dry brush towards the like important bits, right? Towards the face, towards the chest, towards the shoulders, tops of the arms, etc. We'll do another layer with more of the yellow ochre. as we get there, but for now, we just want to enhance what we have going on. He should be proud. That's beautiful poetry. Does poetry actually have an umlaut? Did you just spell that correctly? Blinded by your reflection, and he can't trust his own pure reflection. Is this a song about having a boner? I think it does. I don't know. It makes sense to me, though. Improvised explosive diarrhea. What's the best food to generate that condition, you think? Taco Bell? Is it always Taco Bell? I could go for some fucking Taco Bell, dude. Poetry in Dutch does. Yeah, that makes sense. I gotta put out a little bit more of this stuff. We need a new double dollop right there. We're gonna mix that in. All right, so continuing the same trend, focusing that dry brush towards the top. We're still being real rough with it. So I just aggressively want that color on there. We're building up layers here, building up layers that are going to get muted down later. So we kind of want them. They're a little ham-fisted at the moment. It's fine. We're okay with them being a little ham-fisted. Do one more pass after this with much heavier like yellow ochre into it, and try to just catch the edges, just edge them rather than such a heavy top down. I hope I have enough paint here. I think I have enough to make this work. All right. All right. Some love given. Give them some love. Touch and tease those tips and edge that boy. That way you have a spectacular finish. Holy shit. Holy shit, that's a lot of gambling. Holy moly. Le Gambe. Alright, yellow ochre. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to do... should probably film this. So let's film it. Excuse me. Someone's calling me. I bet you it's spam. Hello? I don't say hello twice. Block. You can always tell it's spam when they give you they just don't respond and they wait for you to say hello again, and then it starts playing the pre-recorded message. That is probably my 200th number I've blocked at this point of spam calls. I called and made a single inquiry into a debt relief program, and now I get probably about 6 calls a day from new numbers trying to sell me debt relief programs. It's great. Never call anybody about anything is the moral of the story there. I need to not use this brush. It was eating up my my paint there. It just like sucked all that paint up into the paintbrush. Let's do another drop of that in there. That's 2 yellow ochre. I need it more green. It needs to be more green. Wow. I think that's looking pretty good there. Now, we're going to do a very light attack with the dry brush this time, I believe. Just going to really rub this clean. Get rid of most of the color. And we started with our Warhammer. And we're doing the same thing, but we're just focusing it right here on the top. That's it. That's all him get. Actually, we maybe should do a heavier coloring. I think right across the top there.
Yeah. Would you do workout?
Do I work out?
Give me 10. Okay.
Who is responsible for this? Thank you, Mr. Comstar Knight, for your care and concern
She can go on forever.
about my noodle arms. Pin coming right up. Please enjoy the clutter table. In the meantime, it's only 20 today, y'all. You know. Where's our tally? There's our tally. Where's our pen? Can any of you tell me where my pen is? It's right there. And I'll lose it again next time I need it. All right. Same deal. Digging into our texture palette. Getting a good rub off. Let's hit our boy here. Really brighten up those edges on the top. Just bring a nice subtle yellow into the focal point. Some good edging work. Some nice visual interest. Same here. Chest, head, shoulders, top of the arm there. Anywhere we really want our audience to look. But even more so than last time. We're not even putting any on the knees or any of the upper facing edges of the legs. Same on this boy, Racha. Highlander probably needs a little extra here. He's got those nice sharp edges on top. And we want those to really shine. Top of the fist, top of the chest, top of the shoulder, tip of the gun. And I think that's really it, honestly. Just get it on there. Next, Gunslinger. Gunslinger's a little interesting. It's mostly going to be on the top here, but we want to direct our focus towards that cockpit. So we really got to kind of mash that in there and hit that pointy spot on his chest. Tips of the guns, because those are a focal point. Top of the head. That's it. Bam. We're done with the ochre. Penis in pants. Oh, fuck. That's true. Penis in pants. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right there, Mr. Nate. Okay, so what's our next step from here, y'all? I think it's time for our black contrast color on these lads here. And we're gonna have to be really fucking careful while we do it. So let's take a moment. Let's pull up our account and dig into our messages and this order is due in 2 hours and 45 minutes. Oh, fuck. Alright, y'all. I have to pivot and do a different job. And instead of ending the stream, I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. So I can photograph the model and send it to the client. I need my hands to be unclammy. How is the order needing to? It's a different order. Different order. And my hands are clammy from taking off gloves, so I need to let my hands get unclammy to put on more gloves. Because these gloves had paint on them and they're not going to work. What we can do instead in the meantime is we'll start on this what we're going to do with the contrast paint. I get that done in like 15-20 minutes maybe. I have a 3D print order that has to be turned in today, is what it is. And I lost track of time. But in the meantime, let's pull up our camo on the guillotine here. I think we've got that kind of like green into the yellowy tone going on. Now we just want to get that black look, and it looks like it's big blobs. It's big blobs. It's kind of, we're looking at like a snaking up and down. So I think we can work with that. And I think we want this spot right here. And we're going to use some Black Legion contrast paint. And we're going to make that happen, right? Meow. Meow. And I think we can use this brush from before. I think the tip is in decent enough condition that we can work with that. So let's bring that brush back to life with a little bit of acetone real quick. Just get in here and rub it and love it and swizzle it and get it wet. Hey, you gotta get your tool wet every now and then. else it dry rots. Every now and then, give it a little love. This one may be too far gone, actually, for what we're doing. Let's get it water wet. See how that works. Yeah, it might be too far gone for any kind of precision application. Let's try this brush maybe, or this one. That one's too far gone. I think that's our boy right there. It's a little small, but it'll do. We like the tip. All right, camera on, pro video on, toothpick in hand, contrast paint on camera, boom. Look at that, improper seal. I bet this thing is losing moisture. We'll take our toothpick, we'll touch it to the barrel so we have like a nucleation site. We get some black paint out. I think we're gonna do 1, 2, 3 drops of water into it. Thin it just a little bit, not much, just a touch, just a hair. We're gonna grab our boy here. We're gonna start going to town with our black contrast paint. And I think we're just gonna like come in and like trace some patterns, right? You start by tracing the pattern and you come in and you expand it, you boost it. You boost it and you move it around. I'll work on this for a little while. I should not have thinned this. Actually, it's performing kind of weird. Now that's been thinned a little bit. I'm gonna come in and rub some patterns over it. We're just gonna find some areas and we're gonna trace some patterns over it. We're gonna expand those patterns. I'm gonna really get in there and just create our patterns and break things up. Kind of free-forming it, you know? You trace the initial little like snaking pattern and then you expand it. Bring that like a spiral up to the top of the leg on the back right here. Yep, like that. Bam. Looks pretty good. How about some snaking over this arm too? Then up onto the shoulder, I think. Sometimes you also got to pick points at where the pattern ends. You just can't just keep spiraling around the thing forever, you know? Please skip the ad. Thank you. I'm gonna have this one come down and off the tip of this gun. There we go. Give some love. We might go in and make some of these patterns branch too. But I don't want the edges of the patterns to be too irregular. But that's a good start. That's enough footage. We can move the camera and kind of dig in, get a little closer to our work and see what we're doing. I'm going to have this pattern branch and then meet up with this other one. Trying to like ensure it has like a serpentine quality to it. This one here can come around the knee, I think. Just don't really want to overdo it too much. Little here and there. It's all right when the patterns like rejoin with themselves as well, I think. There's kind of a little bit of an art to it in that, like, if you see a spot that just looks like it needs some, give it some, right? Just don't be afraid, toss it on there. You want to break up the silhouette. That's the whole point. Don't overthink it. If you're thinking about it, you're taking too long. Just put it on there. Slap it on, spread it around. I think this bit is going to come around from the inside up and over the top and down the gun again. So what are we missing on this one? This guy really needs some on the back somewhere. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have this snaking pattern right here branch off and down. Down and like maybe across the ass there into that lower strip on the lip, like that. Boom. And then we're going to expand this patch to where it's bigger, taking up more real estate, looking pretty decent. Yeah, I think it's looking all right. Our first one. So much gambling, so much gambling, so much gambling all them away. Still got over $1 trillion. Though it is worth pointing out that you do seem to be on a losing streak as of late, Mr. Sling. That guy needed us to all know about how powerful his motorcycle is. Okay, next. I want a stripe right here. Just like that. Bam. We just made a decision and we do it. Decision made. Stripe is applied. Stripe is applied, we expand. And then that stripe is going to come out and across right here, across the ass, coming down, right y'all, and then onto this leg, where it's then going to stripe and wrap around that leg all the way down to the foot. We're going to expand it the whole way, every bit of that. Get a little bit more here, a little bit more there. Turn it into a camo pattern. And we're going to trust in our contrast action to give a little bit of highlighty, shady stuff. Little of the action automatically instead of having to worry about going back in with too much gray. We will probably do some very mild edge highlighting on it. And then we also want this thing to branch off like that. Come up and rejoin on the top of the arm, like so. We're really just fucking globbing this on. We're picking the spots where it needs to be, we're attacking it, and we're expanding it till it looks like our nice patterning. This leg needs some. I think we can come up like this, maybe. And then that's going to come down right here and kind of join up. Nice little camo stripe in action. Hit the jackpot billionaires. The 99. God damn, that's a lot. Holy fuck. Like, You know, Slink, I tried to put in some kind of redeem that only you would be able to afford to do. But the 10 million price tag was just as high as it would let it go. Unfortunately. All right, get a nice wrap around of this black. I feel like we're kind of missing some back here somewhere. Maybe we want a branch right here that comes onto that arm. I think is what we'll do. And bring this down onto the arm. And onto the gun even. 35 billion. Still messed up. I did all this within the system. Lost probably billions from all the times I dropped back down to zero. Yeah, it's insane. Your shenanigans has like basically caused the restructuring of the system, of course. All right. That's looking weird. And I think that's fine. We maybe need to increase the size of this strip here. So I think that was the big thing about the example is the bands of black are like bigger. They're not thin stripes, they're really, really thick stripes. And I think that would help this look less strange to boost how big they are. Even this one like could stand to be a little bit bigger. Or like right here. Like let's make that much bigger. Let's bring that up onto the knee. Let's come over here. Like this whole ass should be black basically. Or like back here. Boom, real big, real fucking big, gigantic even. Bam, out. Bam, out. Bam, out. Bam, out. Bam, out. Bigger. Bigger. The whole inside of this top right here, maybe? Just that whole dealio. Think bigger right here too. Bigger. Boom, bigger. Bigger stripes. Looks way better with that little size increase there. Just a bit. You know, not always, but sometimes bigger is better. Usually autocannons. AC20 over AC5, yes. Though I have grown on, I've warmed up quite a bit to AC10s. Apparently, MechWarrior 5 Mercs is getting new DLC in September 12 story missions against the clans. Interesting. Interesting. To update the... Go back and update the old game. That means they're going to have to put clan mechs into the old game. I'm also going to pop cat there. Alright, let's come in with some big, broad stripes on our gunslinger now. Big, broad areas. Bold. Black. Breaking up that silhouette. Again, we're going to make them large, learning the lessons we have learned. Bigger stripes look better. Big, big, big. Big, wide, broad strokes. I was going to try to smooth the edges of them, of course. Then we're going to do a branch right here that runs down across his peen and onto his leg. The best part is at some point we're going to go back in and we're going to paint over this again anyways with in certain areas at least with the tartan pattern. The Invasion 16, it looks like Vulture Medkit, Thor, Loki for Heavies, Bull Shark apparently. Yeah, at this point I really just hope they push for canonization of the Bull Shark. I like the Bull Shark. I also like the, what's that other clan mech that MechWarrior Online has? The Sun Spider. I think that thing's fucking dope. And deserves a space in canonicity. We're gonna branch this one off too, right back here. Boom. Kind of want to put together a Sun Spider on MechWarrior Online. Alright, so we want to continue this stripe, I think, up the butt. And we're going to pull it up and across the back. Like so. Boom. Big, big broad strokes. Big large areas. Fucking break that silhouette up. Own it, right? You're putting black over what you just did. Just own it. Do it. Just do it. Let's run that all the way back here. Up and onto this boy. Bring it down here too. There we go. Big strokes, big strokes. We want something on that arm over here, I think, too. I think what we might do is create a branch from right back here and bring it up and over and down and onto that arm. Sun Spider Sleep. I'm gonna be off sleep. See you later, folks. You take it easy, Mr. Iron Elemental. We're locked in here for a little while longer. Or maybe not. I actually need to work on that other project too. I think maybe I could finish doing these stripes on these boys just to have these saved for posterity for my clients' benefit if they happen to catch any of this. Else yeah, I think that looks pretty decent. We're gonna have some panels on it that are the tartan patterns anyways, breaking all that up. We're gonna have some metallics that'll break that up too. I got like an abrupt end to the black here, so I think I'm gonna push it down into there. I think it looks decent. This one's it's a little wonky. I'm not super happy with the patterning on it. I think we could just maybe expand the black, make some of the patches bigger. Might be a way to combat that, yeah. Yeah, this section right here needs something. So we're gonna boost that edge up, make it a little bigger, and I think we'll curve out this corner to make that branch look a little more natural, less. Yeah, that looks way better. Cool. That looks decent. Take it mental, Mr. Iron Easy. Yes. All right, my ADHD is like screaming at me to do something else. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're at almost 3 hours in. I'm gonna take a break from this. I'm gonna call the stream. But to give y'all a heads up as to what's going on, we're putting the same black stripes on these three boys, so 3 more of these, just more repetitive motion. My brain's just going, so I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna get some coffee. I'm gonna pop into the Discord and chit chat with folks. We got these boys with their nice gradient going on. I think these are gonna get hit with an ink wash soon. We're gonna be right back at this project tomorrow. I think we're going to be doing the late evening thing because I need to run by the post office tomorrow and dispatch my clients' 3D prints. And then we're continuing. It's more of this every day. So tomorrow, probably 6 p.m., we'll do an evening stream again. We'll get some more work in on these boys. We'll get them closer to done. I think I'll be able to dig out the infantry and vehicles and stuff, and we're going to charge on through and we're going to finish these fellers. What's our date today? 25th. We got up to 5 more days of working on these, and they're going to be delivered for my client's approval on the 30th, and we'll get them in the mail right after that. So yeah, I hope y'all have had fun out there today. Thank you so much for stopping through and showing stream loyalty and hanging out. It really means the world to me. And if you're catching this via the algorithm and like what you see, expect way more. Come on in and chat with us and talk shit and make penis jokes, and maybe consider joining the Discord. Link in the description down below. In any case, I've been Cameron on behalf of Country Fried Minis. This is the 3-hour mark, and I'm calling it for now. And I will catch y'all tomorrow. Take it easy. Lots of love. See ya around. Goodbye.
Would you do a workout?
I do.
Give me 10.
You got it, Mr. Comstar. We'll end on that note. I will give you those 10.
Bye, everyone. She can go on forever.